So with our lovely Mr. W, ready? We were going to work a little bit with the toy exchange game. I don't know if he's going to rock it, but we can always give it a try. So I know Mom had mentioned that he tends to go for his little lamb chop toy, and I believe it might be his third. So I know we discussed really quickly this morning about how a lot of times puppies don't realize that plushy items are not necessarily always for gutting. So I know for a lot of puppies, grabbing toys and then keeping them in one piece doesn't always work out. So I would recommend to practice this toy exchange game. It is a great way to get your puppy to play with plushies, but not have it always be about the opening them up and checking to see what's inside. So the benefit of the toy exchange game, and I know I've mentioned it in a couple other little videos too with some of the previous Doggy Day School students. So when your puppy is able to relinquish or let go of a toy that they're allowed to play with, ready? That can help your puppy then let go of things he's maybe not supposed to have. So if your puppy has a hard time letting go of even a toy, then how are they going to relinquish something that is maybe off limits or not an item that you want him to get good at grabbing? So getting your puppy to play with one toy and then exchange for another toy is a great way to build up that letting go of an item. I know we had mentioned sometimes this jumping is actually more anxiety. Ready, sit. So he's a little bit of a more anxious kind of guy, which is not the end of the world. But a lot of times, that's fine, Hippo. No worries. Did you want another snack? Okay. My little one just finished up her yogurt, so she was just letting me know. So for Mr. W, remember that if you don't like the jumping, you may want to sort of also gauge what's my puppy's comfort range. Have I been able to expend energy in other ways? He's also panting because we did a little bit of flirt pull play a little bit before we did some of the toy exchange setup. So with toy exchange, and right now all I'm doing is a couple find its to keep his body busy so that way he's not jumping on top of me. So remember that if you're getting a lot of jumping, it could be, again, displacement behavior, which means that they're taking a behavior that could be a little bit out of context and then applying it when under stress. So some displacement behaviors are like excess itching, excessive sniffing. Sometimes it can be like, again, mouthiness or popping. So I would recommend to keep an eye as to when he's doing things and in what situation and the level of difficulty that he might be struggling with. So my favorite, again, about this toy exchange game is one toy comes alive and we're playing with one, then we can have him, again, keep the item, and then we go to another toy to make this toy now come alive, and we'll see if he goes and exchanges the original toy for the new one. If, again, he doesn't quite, there we go, nice, know how to rock it yet, you'll see that I make one toy come alive, then the other one goes limp and just kind of is, oh, he's like, I dropped it. So let's say the other toy is limp. Ready, sir? That can start to equal it's time to let go. So my toy is alive and we're playing. Remember, there's also this misconception that playing tug with your puppy will create a more aggressive or dominant puppy. Remember that dominance in the sense of behavior could be sometimes a little bit of a rude behavior, but remember there is no such thing as dominance theory in dogs. So remember that the dominance theory was debunked by the scientists that came up with the whole concept while studying wolves. If you want some more direct information about why using dominance theory with your puppy is outdated but also harmful to your relationship, I can give you more resources. But remember, your dog is, first off, not a wolf, and second of all, they don't view you as another dog. So when you are told to sometimes use like an alpha roll or a scruffing of the neck or a muzzle hold or any of those types of outdated rubbish, the problem there is now you're showing your puppy that at times when he's having a hard time or doesn't understand something, we are going to become aggressive, scary, and then ruin potentially that really nice relationship you're hoping to gain with him. Remember that a lot of times creating a moment where you're scolding or punishing a puppy doesn't teach them that whatever they were doing was wrong. It just teaches them, chewing's optional still, but it teaches them that at times we are either unsafe or safe. So remember that if you don't like what your puppy is rehearsing, you either, one, prevent it from happening, two, help him through the situation to show him what you'd prefer. And then if you're still having failure, you're more than likely working your puppy past their comfort range. So make sure, again, we're doing things that help him be successful versus, for example, maybe setting him up for more hiccups. So because remember, puppies grow into behavior, not out of behavior. So we want to make sure that as he's working anything, it's towards the end goal you were hoping to get to. So again, that toy was alive. Now this one comes alive, and we'll see if he can relinquish the original to then go for the second one. Ready? Yeah, he's like, almost got it. Ready? Grab. Nice. So you can say, take it. There's all different slogans. Mine is normally take it, and then I tend to say drop it. Some people say out or give. Remember that if every time you say drop it, it means we're taking the item away. So drop, yes. Then the problem there is then relinquishing the item means the game is over, or I'm always taking something they find valuable out of the playing field. So remember, the reason you want to practice take it and drop it is if your puppy starts to realize that letting go has value, you can then get them, ready? Drop it. You can get them nice to let go of something that maybe is not acceptable. So let's say he's doing some jumping. Remember, he's just excited. We're going to get that little sitting if we can. He's like, I sat on the rope. Ready? Take it. And now my toy comes alive and we play again. He's like, chewing and breathing is hard. So let's say we're playing again with the toy. It's alive. We want him to grab it. Nice. It comes alive. He can even win it. And then again, we play with another one. And this is a great way to get your puppy to practice letting go, but not feeling flustered, because none of the items get taken away and that you become the end of fun. So now let's say I have it and I want him to let go. I'm going to go, ready, drop it. Yes. And I'm going to feed him for relinquishing the item. Nice. Then we might go, ready, get his attention, get a little sit. Nice. Take it. He's like, I guess. He's getting tired. So now as he's playing, if you're finding too, like let's say puppy is, ready? Nice job with your sit, sir. So let's say your puppy is getting a little overstimulated and they're sometimes going for you. Then that would be a time to make sure we're also taking little breaks throughout the play. I also prefer, so let's say your puppy is still working on where your body starts and the toy begins. I love using a toy that is long, so that way you have a nice big chunk of distance between the puppy's lovely mouth as they're learning and your hands. So if you find that they're tending to by accident overreach and grab for you, they're not trying to do it on purpose. They just don't realize where you and the toy end or start. So, but notice how Miss Lamb Chop is right now still in one piece. That's also because we're practicing with plushy items as an interactive moment together, not as a destructive toy or an item that you would like him to get in the habit of just breaking and ripping apart. And then by accident, at times, they could ingest it. Oh, we stepped on Lamb Chop. So, but let's say, for example, your puppy tends to go through plushies really fast. Those should be toys that are interactive. Typically, my dogs don't have plushies down unless we're playing together. So that way the toy becomes something cool and novel that I could use as reinforcement for other skill sets. Because if, let's say, the toys are out 24/7 and you're trying to get your puppy to ignore you and go to that thing, if they've been out all day with the toy, they may not care about it the same way they care about your pants or your shoelaces or whatever you might have. So now as he's practicing with this lovely toy, and all it is an old leash that I took a little toy and tethered it to the bottom. So, and I did cut off the buckle as well. Yes. So sometimes you can even interrupt behavior with that positive interrupter. Chewing is still hard. So that way, Mr. Handsome is realizing that letting go is not the end of the game. If, for example, every time we let go, the game ends, I take the item away, then what we start to create is potential gulping behaviors, or even at times resource guarding. If every time he swipes something he's not supposed to have, and I know we don't want him to get hurt by eating acorns, or for example, gobbling up like mulch or whatever it might be. But if the way we deal with those setups is by typically getting overwhelming from the puppy's perspective and just ripping it out of their mouth, you may be by accident creating the gulping behavior you were trying to avoid. So I'm going to also grab another little toy and see if we can practice again. Oh my goodness, chewing. He says chewing and walking and grabbing toys is a lot of hard work. So let's say my puppy's really excited. I would want to wait for either all four on the floor or a sitting position or some sort of softness. And then I'd say, are you ready? And then go get it. So now my toy comes alive. And that's when the puppy goes and grabs for the item. So he's doing a real nice job engaging. Now again, let's say we could either play with another toy or we could get him to relinquish by going ahead and saying, ready, drop it. Yes, and feeding for the let go. Notice how, again, the toy sometimes just hangs out and I'm feeding throughout. I don't always want to have it be where like the toy goes away as he does a nice job letting go. So he's doing a real nice job grabbing. Ready? Take it. There we go. He's like, I almost caught it. He's being a wild man. Go get that toy. Oh my goodness. So he's really nice and agile. So just make sure that when you are playing, you're playing in an environment that has some traction. Remember that for, yes, a lot of puppies, when they are playing on hardwood or tile or slippery surfaces, oh my goodness, chewing, then what your puppy might be doing is sometimes compensating, chewing and playing as hard. There we go, you got it. But if he's playing on a slippery, slick type surface, view it almost like he's learning how to do something on an ice skating rink. We could, by accident, cause injuries. He could slip and fall and scare himself. So you want to make sure that, especially while he's developing both mentally and physically, nice job, sir, that he's not also trying to compensate and at times could hurt himself on those different types of surfaces. So traction, really important for when you're playing and engaging with some of this play dynamic. Ready? Find it. So, but we'll give him a little break from the toy exchange. And remember, there's a few other videos available on the YouTube channel. So you might want to go rotate through some of them.